All right. Good evening, everyone. Did you have a good weekend? Yeah. Do we have anybody new on the call that we need to introduce? I know I invited some new people tonight. I'm just looking to see if they are on. But I did tell them I would record the call so they could watch it too. So, oh, no, I guess I'm not seeing anybody new unless if anybody invited someone else to join tonight you wanted to introduce. No? Okay. Well, we'll get started then. So our mission is to empower others to live their very best life, to help others live fit, free, and empowered and fearless lives by breaking through their barriers and stepping into their power. So thank you for being a part of this tonight. So I'm old school and I did the names in the bowl. I don't have the app. So I'm just going to draw a name for the winner for who participated in the questions for the book. And I just drew Tammy. So Tammy is our winner. Woohoo! Congratulations.
Did Team Strong like rig this thing? Isn't it always
every
Team
time?
Strong?
You never know.
And Casey is going to lead the discussion on the book tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to her.
Yes, so chapter 6 finished up the compound effect. So basically this last chapter, it looked like a lot of people read it, so that's good. I wrote down a quote just from the very first part. Will I discover my innermost weakness, or will I? And that can relate to so many things in life, obviously. And with coaching, obviously, we all know we get the no's and the ghosting and all those things. And I guess right now I've been able to communicate alone. You can touch base with your upline and with other coaches, but when, I don't know, it's just different, I guess. And was ghosting. So yeah.
It's cutting in and out.
Yeah. Anything else you got? My glitchy? Oh, okay. Okay.
No, you're not. I think Jenny's might be or something.
Okay. Strength given to your weakness. That's kind of how I took it anyways. And I know a couple of the comments I saw were things like, getting those messages of clients that you did make a difference, and getting those messages helps you push through those harder times. And if you're a new coach, sometimes you're not getting those messages yet. Like I haven't had a whole lot of those, but I have clients and customers in the group that, I can tell by what they're posting at least that this is making a difference in their life. So even if you're not getting those messages yet, that ripple effect is still there. It's still a very real thing. And then the next one, multiplying results. So my dad always taught me for sports in high school, I want you to be the first one in the gym and I want you to be the last one to leave. And so this has kind of been ingrained in my life like forever. Of course, with coaching, it's a little different. There's no gym, but just doing that extra so that the growth will happen, and doing the extra reps, even when you don't want to send the invites, because I know that's probably the biggest one where people get held back. But just, when you get to that wall, just doing it anyway and messaging another coach here so that you have these people, we've got your back. And I actually there was a gal that I had messaged a while ago about coaching because she's a yoga teacher, I don't know, I don't think she owns her own studio or anything, but she teaches yoga. And she was a pretty firm no, and that was fine. Well, then COVID happened, and I reached out to her again, thinking, well, maybe she'll change her mind. And it's probably the way I read it, because it was a typed message, but it came across as being my mind has not changed about this type of message. And I read it, and of course immediately was just like, ah. But it also motivated me to ask other people, because it's like, you know what, I'm going to prove you wrong, because you might think that this is not the thing to do or whatever, but it actually motivated me more to be like, you know what, I'm doing it. I'm going to ask somebody else then. So when you hit that wall, just like find somebody else to ask sometimes, because there are going to be people out there where this is not for them, and that's fine. You just have to move on. Most of us here have probably learned that through messaging people already. And then beating expectations. Yeah, we all wish we were Oprah and could give away cars. We can't do that, but well, at least I can't. But I just try to think of like, what would I appreciate as a customer? And a lot of us started as customers at first, or just being a discount coach. So what are the types of things that you would have appreciated when you first started? So I've been trying to think of it that way, so that I'm supporting the new people that I'm bringing on, as well as, I guess, yeah, supporting them and then helping them find their place, I guess, because I can't give away cars. And then doing the unexpected. We had looked like a lot of comments about handwritten notes. That was actually one of mine as well. And I think we kind of forget that those handwritten notes are really pretty special. And at least for me, I haven't done a lot of that yet. I actually just started, after reading The Compound Effect, doing more of the handwritten notes and actual shout outs to people. And I think we just forget that feels good to be shout out, and it feels good to do it for other people. And then they get the recognition too. So maybe they're having a hard day or hard time, and then they get that message and feel really good about it. And then the other thing, because I heard this on a podcast this week, was to not be a perfectionist about it. Don't obsess over always doing the unexpected and always beating the expectations, because I think the podcast said B- work is still going to make a difference. It doesn't always have to be A+ work, because I know we get caught up in that. It's just part of who we are. We want to do everything all the time, but we have to remember that, even B work is going to make a difference for somebody. So that's what I've got. My notes are done. Anyone else have anything to add for the last chapter or overall with the book?
Well, I still remember when Emily sent me a handwritten note, and it really meant a lot to me, and I saved it, and I still have it. So it just goes to show that just that small act of kindness can make a big impact, So it was so cool to get that in the mail. I didn't expect it. So yeah, I thought that part of the book, that resonated with me too. Just like, yeah, be doing that.
That's good to hear too, because those are time consuming. If you're signing up a lot of challengers and a lot of coaches in a month, it's like a chunk of time every day to write those notes. That's awesome to hear, Jenny. That you saved it too. Erica just shared it. She had a client that dropped off, and she had written her a handwritten note, and she called Erica and said, I still have your note. I'm getting back into it. And I might be paraphrasing that wrong, but she's not on tonight to share that story. Something on that same, like something you can do above and beyond. My best thoughts, a lot of you know this because you get messages from me right after I do a workout or right after a shower. So today I was working out, and I was thinking about one of my clients. She did not get BOD. She is flat out broke, but she did a 2B Mindset Challenge pack. And I tried to explain to her that she would pretty much pay the same, but whatever. She's living in someone's basement, has no space. And now she's realizing her gym isn't going to open. Like this COVID thing's for real. Gyms are going to look different. And she's like, well, what would it cost? Would it be $100 now? And I just thought while I was working out, why don't I send her the free bar workout? She's in her mid-60s. She has no space. Like, what a perfect, so just a free workout, you know, she's already a 2B Mindset client. So I think sometimes we think it's got to be something, oh, so crazy. And a lot of you know my gifts are dumb. They're like packets of Hydrate, but it's just that thing of getting something in the mail. Like, who doesn't love that, right? So little things. It doesn't have to be big things.
My takeaway from this is that, which has kind of been a motto of mine anyway, and just through experiences, is that when you do push up against something hard and you work through it, even though there's probably blood, sweat, and tears, once you're done, it's whatever you're going to do next is going to be that much easier. And so it just keeps you pushing to go harder, not harder, but you know that every time you succeed over a challenge, you're going to be a different person and you're going to be stronger, and your mindset is also stronger. So it's something that sticks with me all the time too, is that you're going to fall down, but you got to get back up.
Right, anybody else have anything they want to add, or should I move on to the next item? So
I
thought
listened to, oh, sorry.
No,
I was
did
just
you
going to
wanna
say,
add something?
I was just going to say, Casey, I listened to that. And that was Bob Helig's thing about the A plus work and B minus work sometimes is good enough. I was like, ooh, that really resonated with me too, because I like to do things right, but just being able to have the grace, I guess, to sometimes, B minus work isn't so bad, because like you said, it's still helping other people. You're still giving the effort and reaching out. And so I think that was just helpful and resonated with me. Just giving yourself the grace, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I think we get caught in the overthinking game. A lot of women are good at the overthinking everything. So yeah, just giving the grace and realizing that, it's still going to make a difference.
We had that discussion, one of our pods, I think it was Saturday morning one yesterday, just how our team is so heart driven and everyone is always giving over the top for their people. And sometimes we don't realize, like, we were kind of flipping out because my challenge group, the posts aren't going. When they do go, they're not pinned. They're not going the right day. All of them go at once. Like the posts are crazy. And I'm like, oh my God, the people. And then I can't comment on their posts some days. And thought, oh, the group is terrible. It's just terrible. I brought all these people in. And then one of the new people said, it was actually one of Erica's clients that's in my group, said, I'm just so grateful for the group. I can just be honest in there and I can share and it's so great. And here we are thinking, so we, like you said, we overthink it, right? And just doing those little things that we're doing. We're so hard-driven team. I can't even say that enough. It's an amazing team. We are all above, over in so many ways.
Well, and if you think about it, even when you plan a wedding, you know what your plans are. Your audience really doesn't. So if there's something that goes wrong, no one knows. So we can't, give ourselves some grace. And we expect our challengers to show grace to themselves in their journey. Why are we beating ourselves up? Which is, it's a good trait to want to do better and do more, but we have to fill our cups and support each other and live life.
I have one more thing that I thought of too. I think it was another Bob Helig one. I can't remember. But it was, he had one of his clients write a letter to herself as if she was writing to her daughter, I think it was. So like, would you speak to your daughter the way you're speaking to yourself? Or, like that type of thought. And that, I thought that was pretty powerful too, because I mean, would you want your daughter, son, mom, grandma, would you talk to them how you're talking to yourself? And then like that puts a lot of things into perspective too.
All right. Thanks,
I
Casey.
agree. I agree. It's always that awkward silence at the end of when you say something, right? Where everybody's on mute. Sorry. Okay.
Everybody's just like, uh-huh.
Sorry, I'm done with Zoom. Like, I want to get together.
All right. Thank you, Casey. So I was thinking, what can I talk about that would help you? And I thought, well, I'm just going to talk about what I've struggled the most with in my coaching, and that's with follow-up. So I sent you a massive text there in the chat, but I hope that you can copy and paste it and look at it when you have more time, and I'll talk about it. But I think one of my biggest hurdles was just giving people way too much information. I was so excited, you know, to like share with them about this opportunity, and I just have gone too fast and I bombarded them with so much information. And it's been a journey, but I feel like I've made a turn in my coaching, honestly, in the last couple of months, in that I have really slowed down and looked at how I converse with people as really a set of steps that I take them through. And it's a process. So I look at myself now more as just like an educator, and I'm taking them through these steps or these series of steps so that they can make an informed, educated decision. And what's helped me, and this is the teacher in me, is that I know I need to take them from here to here, like I do my students. And so I need to kind of divide all of that up into segments. And so that's what I sent you all today, is just kind of how I take people through, like telling them about everything and not bombarding them with a whole bunch of information. So I've learned that I have to just really get to know them and figure out what their pain points are to help them find a solution. So what's given me confidence is knowing, like, based on how they respond to me, how I'm going to respond to them next, and kind of having an overall plan and knowing what I'm going to move to next. And Emily has helped me with this, and it's taken time, but I feel like I've gotten to a place where I can converse with people much more confidently because, again, I know where I'm going. So if you look at the example that I sent there, I'm just going to kind of show you what I've been doing, and feel free to interject if there's something that you do that works too. But anybody who watches my story, or they, they comment or they like or love on any of the posts that I put out there, I do reach out to them and I thank them. So I'll say, thank you for watching my story. And I watch to see who watches my story consistently. But if they have, liked on one of my posts, I tell them that. And then I learned to keep it much more simple. Are you interested in learning more about, and then whatever it is that they commented on, let's just say it's at home fitness programming, or are you just showing the love? And Emily helped me with that. So it gives me an out, but based on how they respond, I always try and keep that conversation going. So even if they tell me, I'm just showing the love, this is how I respond. Thanks for the support. It means a lot. If you're ever interested in learning more about at-home fitness programming or whatever it is we're talking about, I'd be glad to share more. And then I ask them a question. Are you currently working out, or do you have a routine that involves making time for your health? And so it's just starting a conversation about that and seeing where they're at. And I'm always trying to find, I want to listen to them. I try and do a good job of listening to them, but then finding an angle where I can bring in something about what I'm doing in my groups and how that might bring value to their life. If they have said to me, oh, I'm really interested in what you're doing, one thing that I have been doing, and it's been successful, is sending them sample workouts And then I have, like, on a Google document, I have 12 different sample workouts that have my coach ID attached to them. And then I send that to them and I make recommendations on like what they're interested in. And then we have a conversation back and forth about, sorry, there's bugs, about what type of fitness they enjoy, and I give them recommendations. Are you guys doing these types of things or no? Nobody's answering.
This is really good, Jenny. Because I've never actually put it, like, typed it out for the team. And this is very similar to what I do.
Yeah, well, you walked me through this. Okay, I'll just keep going, but I'm just curious.
Yes.
I love feedback too. Like, it's always interesting to me to know like what other people are doing too. But then this is what I've been doing. And typically, you know, we'll have a conversation and it takes a while, but they might try a couple sample workouts. But I am finding that, you know, the fitness piece is always the easiest one to tackle first. And most people love Beachbody On Demand. They like talking about the fitness. That's an easier, you know, topic to discuss. And once I know that they love Beachbody On Demand and they've tried a few workouts, then that's when I ask them about nutrition. And at that point, we've typically been talking long enough that they're more open to receiving information about nutrition. So once I know that, I always tell them, you know, it sounds like you're really excited about the at-home fitness programming, but, you know, I always want to help you find the total solution. You know, I want to offer you everything that there is. And so then that's when I bring up about nutrition. And I always ask them for permission about what information they want to receive. But that's when I bring in the nutrition piece, is when I've gotten to know them a lot better. And that's where I feel like I've had more success. And people a lot of times are held back with the nutrition. And so the other thing that I do offer is phone conversations, Zoom calls. If we can get together face to face, I've done that a lot. Obviously, that's not an option right now. But in the last month, most people, when I get to the point where we're talking about nutrition, I offer a phone call or a Zoom call if they're open to doing that. And almost always they commit, not 100%, but I think my stats are pretty high when we can get to that place. Anybody else do that? I know Emily does that. Yeah, and it's kind of scary at first. I remember the first time I invited someone over to my house or even into my classroom to talk face to face. But honestly, it was the best thing that I ever did in my coaching, to really talk to people and just, you know, you get those visual cues. And even on the phone, and you can have that two-way conversation. It's so much easier. Some people aren't open to it, of course, and you know, I always respect that, but that has been a turning point for me. And then the other thing too, and we've talked about this in our coach thread, I've gotten much better at like offering everything, but even before they purchase their challenge pack, and that's the last thing that I do. Like, we don't talk about any of the costs or anything, but the other thing I do is I always offer the coach discount now at the very end, just so that they're informed and they know that they can save money on it, even if they don't want to do it initially, in the future. And, you know, people do tell me no, but I always just look at it like my job is to inform them and give them all the facts so they can make the best decision for them and serve them the best that I can. And it doesn't feel icky, it doesn't feel gross, it feels really natural. And you know, the cool thing about doing it this way, for me anyway, is that I feel like I get to know these people on a much deeper level. I mean, even people that I do know, when I go through all of this with them, by the time we're done, like, I feel like we've connected even more, like, deeply. It's hard to explain, but that's been a really cool thing for me in my coaching. And so that's why I want to share about it, because it's just made it so much more fun for me. And I don't feel like I'm trying to make a sale. I really feel like I'm just serving people and helping them find what's best for them. And whether they say yes or no, like I always respect it. And even if they say no to me, I know it's not like forever. It's just maybe they're not ready right now, and they're always on my follow-up list. I'm always following up with them. So anyway, I shared that with you tonight, and I just thought maybe for an action item, you could go and kind of look at where you're at in your conversations and just identify where you're at and think about where you want to go next. And maybe some of this could help you. I know it would have helped me when I first started out. I'm just a very concrete, sequential person. So if I know like the big picture and like all the steps in between, that helps me navigate forward. So anyway, I will set my timer. We're at 9 o'clock and I got unlimited Zoom. Do you want to work for like 10 minutes tonight, 10 or 15? Is that what we've been doing? Okay, all right. So the teacher in me wants to say, okay, one more minute. All right, it's 9:10. Goes fast. Saw some of you voice messaging. How do you feel about following up? Is that a struggle? Gaining confidence? Sometimes it's hard to know. I always have to go back and look and see where we're at in the conversation and kind of think about where I want to go. I mean, even though I know in my brain, I still want to think it out. And I guess what I love about, like, I love using Facebook because of the voice messenger. I love being able to tell people through my words, through my emotion, you know, what we have to offer is such a tremendous opportunity. And yeah, I love being able to do that now. So I like doing a mix of, you know, texting and voice messaging. How many of you enjoy the voice messaging? It was something I had to get used to, but now I can't imagine not doing this without it.
I like it. I like the new format with Facebook too, because you can really mess up and cancel and
Yes, you
resend
can
it.
delete. I've done that before.
But I also think it's important that sometimes they need to see text beyond that too, just as like a quick blurb, so they know enough to look for it. But
That's a good point, because there are things too I like, if it's long and I want them to feel like my emotion and know how passionate I am, I will do the voice message. But if it's something real specific, like that I know I would want to go back and reference, definitely do it in text. That's a really good point. Yeah. Just kind of that mix there. And I guess, you know, I like still sending some of the informational videos. I do that. Like if I'm talking about nutrition, I will do 1 or 2 voice messages, and then I might do a little video for them to view. Are you doing that, or yes?
I do.
Like
Yeah,
what
I do on,
in our coach office. Yep.
especially on Chewy Mindset and Ultimate Portion Fix, so they can just get a little snippet of, you know, what seems to suit your personality more. You know, they want nutrition, but they're not sure which one to do.
Right.
I do that. I send the one with Shakeology too.
Yep, I do too.
So it's a total of about 15 minutes, but.
And in there also are the nutrition. I've gotten that a lot lately. People want to see the nutrition facts of Shakeology or any of the products, and that is in the coach office. Most of it is anyway.
That's the one I use for Shakeology, is the PDF or whatever, you know, just the quick down and dirty version of what is in it and what are the benefits of it.
All right. Well, that's all I have. Thanks for getting on tonight.
Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny and Casey,
Jenny.
for sharing.
Yes, thank you,
Stacy.
Casey.
Yeah.
So we won't have a call next week because it's it's Memorial Day weekend. So no call. We finished our book. This was an awesome book. I'm having my family read it. And then the following week we're going to have a June. June is perfectly bookmarked with Memorial Day and then 4th of July. So we'll have 4 calls together in June, and then we'll pick back up after the 4th of July. So our new challenge, by the way, is going to be the National Wake Up Call. We didn't want to add a book in the month of June. We're just going to do something that we already all listen to, and maybe some new coaches don't, and get them to listen to it and bring that together. And it'll be a great discussion and a lot of fun with that. So thank you, Becky, for that idea. All right. Thank you so much, team. What is your team called? Oh my gosh, I just blanked. Team Life Fit, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Good job, guys.
Good job. We'll see you guys after Memorial Day.